Okay, I'm here today with Alex Bach. He's our Coastal Resources Manager here for the Okaloosa County and the Tourist Development Council. Is that you kind of work for both, right?
Yeah. So there's the Tourist Development Department within Okaloosa County, and that's where I fall. We're branded as Destin Fort Walton Beach. So it's kind of a unique situation where you have marine biologists working in a tourism agency. And I'll tell you right now, if you asked me 10, 15 years ago what I'd be doing now, I don't think I would have ever said that I'd be working for a tourism agency as a marine biologist. So it's been interesting.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's real interesting. But we're here today because we've kind of worked with you guys on this idea to come up with this snapper fishing tournament to support what you do at the Reef projects. Here at Livin, we've always supported habitat conservation type of projects, and so we're super excited to kind of partner with you guys on how we can continue what you're doing and improve the habitats out there and grow that. So could you tell us a little bit about, the program and, kind of where it started, where we're at now, and what kind of growth you've seen?
Yeah, totally. So Destin Fort Walton Beach has been really active in artificial reef creation since it really started back in the 1970s. We've come a long way from the 70s. I mean, it was, washing machines, tires, and all that stuff being deployed back then. But nowadays, we're deploying very clean and very environmentally friendly pieces of material for artificial reefs. In the 90s, we were active. Things really kind of turned off in the early 2000s. We really went stagnant until about 2017, 2018, when I came on board. We got things spun back up, got our permits back into place, and started applying for grants, getting a bunch of grant money, using tourism development tax dollars to deploy a bunch of these artificial reefs. So we started deploying reefs again in 2019, and we really haven't slowed down. Especially recently, we've been really targeting a lot of those large vessels that everyone likes to go fishing and diving on. And since 2019, we've almost doubled the amount of artificial reefs that we have off of Destin Fort Walton Beach. So we're a little over 400 public artificial reef sites. And each of those sites can be anything from a pyramid, a single pyramid that weighs maybe 6,000 pounds, 8 foot tall, to a 400-foot shipwreck. So it really depends, but it's kind of hard to classify something as.
So the pyramids, since you pulled that one up, the pyramids is what we're offering in our sponsorship.
Yep.
So, tell us exactly what that is and, how long do they last?
Yeah.
What are they made of?
Yeah. So these pyramids that you're going to be working to deploy off of Destin Fort Walton Beach after the tournament are essentially concrete pyramids that are embedded with a bunch of limestone to encourage growth. These structures weigh over 6,000 pounds and are 8 feet tall, have lots of nooks and crannies for fish. This is a new model that's really been deployed over the last 5 or 6 years, and they're performing extremely well. A lot of them took a big direct hit from Hurricane Michael a few years ago, and they survived no problem. So you look at some of the existing reef material that's out there, like chicken coops. Those may last 10, 15 years if you don't really have a lot of storm activity, but these things are going to last well beyond, while we're on Earth. So it's going to be, they're awesome habitat, and they really develop very, very fast.
So if one of these sponsors picks up one of these reefs, they could essentially fish on it for time.
Yeah, it would probably take about 6 months to a year before fish start showing up. In numbers that you could actually start fishing it. But as time goes on, the longer it's out there, the more growth there's going to be, and the more of a natural reef it'll mimic. So.
Yeah. With all these deployments, have you seen, a growth in the population of fishes, or some fishes that were struggling seem to be performing now that weren't?
Yeah. So it's really hard to pinpoint exactly why a fish species is doing good or doing bad, but there's certainly things that you could do to help it. And for reef fish species, they are relying on reefs. So the more reefs that you put out there, it's good for habitat. It's more places for these fish to live. But on the fishing side of things, it spreads that pressure out a little bit. So it's all the fishermen aren't going to the same site every single day and just hammering that reef and catching everything on it to where there's really nothing left. You have 400 plus reefs out there. People can bounce between those reefs and really spread that effort out, giving those fish a little bit of a chance to live a little while before getting smashed. Absolutely.
Right. So with all the reef deployments, what's been your most exciting one that you've done so far?
Yeah, so the shipwrecks are really, really cool. You have these large structures that are meant to float. They've been modified and cleaned to a point to where they're safe environmentally to be sunk. And the process goes very, very quickly in most cases. You get out there, you start filling with water, and all of a sudden it starts to sink and it's gone before you know it. You dive that immediately after. It looks like it was just on the surface, but in no time, 6 months or so, you can get down there and see all the fish. There's a lot of growth forming on it. Urchins show up pretty quick after it hits the bottom. So that really is exciting. But I think, looking at the map of all of our artificial reefs from what it was in 2017 to what it is now, there's a lot more dots on that map. And I think that's really, really exciting. There's a lot of buzz behind this stuff. There's a lot of community support. That's not something we really had when we got started, but now we have folks like y'all reaching out, wanting to partner with us. And that goes a really long way to show that the community is backing what we're doing, and it helps, leadership justify spending the money on this. So
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's important, for our area, we've always liked the conservation part of it for what we do, selling real estate. You want people to be able to enjoy it for future generations. But, I think it's important for the leadership, to take an initiative like they're doing with this coastal resources thing. And, and then I think that it's important for us, even though it's, our tax dollars are contributing to it, for us as a community to step up and be involved, and put some skin in the game and try to make it important, even beyond just the leadership.
Yeah. And what's actually interesting, you said your tax dollars. So not a single one of your tax dollars is spent on artificial reefs. It's all tourism tax dollars. So when someone comes and stays in a hotel in Destin Fort Walton Beach, or anywhere in Okaloosa County for that matter now, a portion of that comes back into our budget for tourism related activities. And artificial reefs certainly tie into tourism with the amount of fishing and diving that we have here in the destination.
Right. Well, that's makes it more exciting.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it benefits the tourists, but it certainly benefits the locals as well.
So what's your, what do you see as your goal? When you look at your career over doing coastal resources here, what would be, when you step aside, 50 years from now? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I love what I do. I really love it here. I don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon, or if at all. Artificial reefs are my passion. Lionfish are my passion. Those are two things that I dive into a lot here in the destination. And what I want is to get this artificial reef program to a point to where that conveyor belt never stops. So even though I may leave, whoever's comes behind me can pick it up and continue running with it. We have a lot of permitted area out there. There's a lot of area for us to deploy artificial reefs. We are not strapped for space out there. So I'm hoping that we can fill up all those boxes with racks, modules, things that I don't even know about yet, and continue to allow our fishery to thrive.
Yeah. So what does the county and the tourist development see as the goal of
that's an interesting question. So here in Destin Fort Walton Beach, we're doing things that no one else is doing. No other tourism agencies are doing throughout the state or the country, for that matter. We have marine biologists on staff following underneath tourism development, so we're really fostering those natural resources. And the goal is always to get more tourists to your destination, but the class of tourists, or the activities that tourists are participating in is what we're really trying to direct with these artificial reefs, lionfish, and water and outdoor activities.
If you could say anything to our tournament participants and potential sponsors, what would you like to share with them about, their participating in this tournament, what the importance of that?
Yeah, so not going out there and fishing is awesome. Throwing a little bit of competition in there is really great too. But when you combine those two things with also contributing back to the community and the fishery that you enjoy, that's huge. I can't thank everybody enough. I really want a lot of these reefs to go out there, and hopefully this to be a beginning of a partnership that we can continue year after year.
Yeah, I hope so too. This is our first year taking this on, and so I think that it's a really exciting proposition. I think it's got a compelling story with supporting what we love to do. By doing what we love to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's really neat to have this opportunity to partner with you guys and make a fishing tournament something special for the habitats, for the fishermen, for the tourism. I think that's pretty neat.
Very well rounded.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Alex, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you at the tournament.
Yeah, looking forward to the event. It'll be fun.